Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all well. Donald Trump been a real busy man of late, hasn't he? Especially for his age. A real busy man indeed. He's been to England twice. Charlie Kirk died, and he had to do the memorial and everything surrounding Charlie Kirk's death. And now he's here at the United Nations, giving a speech, which is nearly an hour long. So, this is a bit of a highlight on CNBC. There is the full speech on Sky News if you want to watch the full thing, but it's an hour long. You know what I mean? So to critique something an hour long, it's going to take about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Too long. So we'll go with the highlights. So he mentions a few things in here. Sadiq Khan, immigration. I mean, he says everything. He says everything you want to hear, like everything those Brits want to hear. He's kind of saying it, and it just makes me wonder if we're being played. If we're all being stoked, up for a civil war or a fight or World War III or something, because as it stands, a lot of people couldn't be asked fighting a war, you know what I mean, especially in the Western world. So are there stoking tensions and people to have people who will fight, you know what I mean? I don't know, but I'm just a mistrusting bastard, me, as I've mentioned before. And I don't trust any of these motherfuckers, like the global agenda. Unless, like, Trump truly isn't in on it, that's the thing. But I don't know whether he is or not, and he's just playing us like never before. He's the fucking best of the lot, or he genuinely is against the global elites and all their agendas. I don't know. I can't tell. So we have to trust him, I suppose, and hope for the best. I think that's the best, yeah. At least there's hope, I suppose. At least there's hope. Maybe not. Maybe false hope. The false prophet. So yeah, so the Antichrist, not the false prophet. Shot in the head wound. Peace, false peace. It's all come about, really. So let's hear a bit of this.
Not only is the UN not solving the problems it should, too often, it's actually creating new problems for us to solve. The best example is the number one political issue of our time, the crisis of uncontrolled migration. It's uncontrolled. Your countries are being ruined. The United Nations is funding an assault on Western countries and their borders. In 2024, the UN budgeted $372 million in cash assistance to support an estimated 624,000 migrants journeying into the United States. Think of that. The UN is supporting people that are illegally coming into the United States, and then we have to get them out. The UN also provided food, shelter, transportation, and debit cards to illegal aliens. Can you believe that? On the way to infiltrate our southern border. Millions of people came through that southern border. Just a year ago, millions and millions of people were pouring in, 25 million altogether over the 4 years of the incompetent Biden administration. And now we have it stopped, totally stopped. In fact, they're not even coming anymore because they know they can't get through. But what took place is totally unacceptable. The UN is supposed to stop invasions, not create them and not finance them. In the United States, we reject the idea that mass numbers of people from foreign lands can be permitted to travel halfway around the world, trample our borders, violate our sovereignty, cause unmitigated crime, and deplete our social safety net. We have reasserted that...
Sorry to interrupt him, but I mean, you've got to remember, he's just reading all this off of like a teleprompter. That's what's happening here. There's no way he probably even wrote this fucking speech, to be honest. But he's just reading it off a teleprompter, and Yeah, again, I very much doubt if he even wrote this speech. So, oh, he's saying everything you want to hear, clearly. But in my opinion, he's just reading from a screen and he didn't write it. So, is there any value in it, or is he just being told to read this? Here you go. That's what we want read. Off you go. I don't know, but that's the other side of it. He is just reading this off a screen, and again, it's a long speech. It's on for like an hour. The thing. So I honestly don't think he wrote this. He probably 90 odd % chance he didn't. So yeah, this is there any value in any of it really, or is there a bigger see what you see with your eyes and what's going on politically in the world isn't really what's probably going on politically. That's the thing. It's like that's what you're being told's going on. It's probably not what's going on. So I just wonder whether we're being played. To be honest, he's saying too many of the right things. You know what I mean?
America belongs to the American people, and I encourage all countries to take their own stand in defense of their citizens as well.
See, there we go. It's stoking exactly what I said at the start, like stoking people, stoking tensions, stoking people into a fight and to be willing to fight. Again, if we have World War III, you're gonna have to fight for your country. So could this all be about getting generations ready for a big fight?
Citizens as well. You have to do that because I see it.
See, like he's telling us to listen and remember what Elon Musk said at the Tommy Robinson rally as well.
Well, you have to do that because
I fucking missed it again. Unbelievable. Go back.
citizens as well. You have to do that because I see it. I'm not mentioning names. I see it, and I can call every single one of them out. You're destroying your countries. They're being destroyed.
Yeah, I'm very weary of him. I think it's all it could be all part of a big plan. Even maybe Tommy Robinson's in on it. And maybe, if they are, Tommy Robinson and Donald Trump are the best goddamn actors in the world. But then, in fairness to say Keir Starmer or Tony Blair, they all played it well. Every single one of them has played it well. But we're just in more high attention times. There's more at stake, and I don't know. I just it's very easy to lie. Everyone's got to remember that, and then not necessarily even lie. Read from probably a teleprompter. I can't see the teleprompter. It's probably it must be on the. I don't know. I just can't see this guy remembering a speech for an hour. You know what I mean?
Europe is in serious trouble. They've been invaded by a force of illegal aliens like nobody's ever seen before. Illegal aliens are pouring into Europe. Nobody is ever, and nobody's doing anything to change it, to get them out.
See, like again, the World War III crack from like Albert Pike, the head of Freemasonry, quite a while ago, was that the Islamic world would face off against the Zionists of Israel, and one of them would mutually destroy each other. Was kind of the crack, and we've kind of seen people pick sides around the world. Do you know what I mean? Everybody's it's very the old Israel Hamas issue. Look at Ukraine and Russia. Nobody's really picking sides and like arguing about it. But with Israel and Hamas and the Palestine, every fucker's arguing about it. So again, that's the tension that's already been named that World War III will be around. And here we have people in the world 2 years down the line after October the 7th massively picked sides. I mean, I'm on Israel's team, as I've mentioned before. I've picked a side. So, and I think a lot of people who listen to this, most of them will have picked Israel. For a few reasons, to be honest. I mean, October the 7th, primarily the first one. Another one, they're our religion, the same God, Jehovah, not Allah. So, yeah, that they're kind of our team is how I would put it. Plus, they didn't do October the 7th primarily. This is ultimately like the bottom line. They didn't do October the 7th, a massive terrorist attack. and everything that's followed afterwards. But again, teams have been formed here for definite. So I just kind of think it's a way of stalking people. Like that. That's all I think when he's saying stuff like he was back there. Like you need to fight for your country, and what Elon Musk said as well. They're kind of like goading us into a war in many ways. The war hasn't appeared yet. Well, it maybe has, but it hasn't appeared in a physical sense as such. It's very much a shouting match at the minute. But although Charlie Kirk has been murdered now, but could Charlie Kirk's murder be also be part of this plan? And again, it's galvanized Christians, again, Christians against Muslims, or Catholics against Muslims, or Jews against Muslims. Could it be a way of stoking that fire as well, like the whole religious fire that the Christians being murdered and so high profile in public? And again, it probably isn't what happened. We think he's maybe been shot from the side, but it's all about the political power of his assassination, so to speak, and what can happen in the aftermath of his assassination. It's not so much about his assassination; it's about the aftermath of the assassination and everything that's about to follow because of it. So, and yet some of that we may very well yet to be seen. We're only a week so after this fellow was murdered, maybe 2 week. So a lot more could be coming, and it could be justified through Charlie Kirk's death is another reason. But this could all tie together. Do you know what I mean? It's all happening now. It's all happening now. It's again. I said this was a very busy man. He'd been to England there. He'd been to the memorial. He's making this speech at the UN. He's all over the shop, isn't he? And does it all tie together? He has a go at Sadiq Khan, London mayor, but also Muslim. Is he stalking the Muslims of London and Sadiq Khan to do something to rise up, and then he's telling people of the country to rise up? So again, I've mentioned this before, but he could be stalking civil wars. It kind of, to me, looks that way, yeah?
It's not sustainable. And because they choose to be politically correct, they're doing just absolutely nothing about it. And I have to say, I look at London, where you have a terrible mayor, terrible, terrible mayor, and it's been so changed, so changed. Now they want to go to Sharia law, but you're in a different country. You can't do that. Both the immigration and their suicidal energy ideas will be the death of Western Europe if something is not done immediately. This cannot be sustained. What makes the world so beautiful is that each country is unique. But to stay this way, every sovereign nation must have the right to control their own borders. You have the right to control your borders, as we do now, and to limit the sheer numbers of migrants entering their countries.
Sorry. So as we see, he mentioned Sadiq Khan, he mentioned Sharia law, Muslims yet again, and then now he's going on about borders and countries, and again the New World Order, which is after World War III. And World War III is the ultimate reason for the New World Order. No more wars. The Third World War will be horrific. But again, goading people into wanting to keep their countries, which ultimately will lead to fighting, and that fighting will lead to the resolution of the New World Order to stop the fighting. So again, I kind of think we're being played. To be honest, I think we're absolutely being played. He's talking a good game, but to me, he's kind of playing us. I still can't see a teleprompter. Is that a teleprompter? These two things here, I think they maybe are, but the very fancy modern ones where they're kind of see-through or something. I don't know, because there is two, so they're nothing to do with being bulletproof. I look down here, looks like there's words on it, it reflects up. The words are actually on the bottom. And this is more of a mirror, and the words are on there, they reflect up, and he reads the words off either of these two teleprompters. Because if you do look as he's doing the interview, he looks left and he looks right, and he does look at different places, but it's kind of in these two directions. So these are the teleprompters. They're just fancy modern ones where it's on the bottom and reflected up, and he sees it. So he's just reading it from a teleprompter, definitely. So again, I just feel like we're being played here. Tensions are being stoked, and maybe possibly even with Tommy Robinson and Elon Musk there as well. In fact, probably or almost probably definitely, tensions are being stoked there. And we're kind of all being pushed into this fighting mentality. Again, in order to fight a war, you need to fight the mentality. If you don't want to fight a war, then you're no good. You know what I mean? So this could be just stalking the people, really. I kind of think that's what it is.
And paid for by the people of that nation that were there and that built that particular nation at the time. They put their blood, sweat, tears, money into that country, and now they're being ruined. Proud nations must be allowed to protect their communities and prevent their societies from being overwhelmed by people they have never seen before, with different customs, religions, with different everything. Where migrants have violated laws, lodged false asylum claims, or claimed refugee status for illegitimate reasons, they should, in many cases, be immediately sent home. And while we will always have a big heart for places and people that are struggling and truly compassionate, answers will be given. We have to solve the problem, and we have to solve it in their countries, not create new problems in our countries. And we are very helpful to a lot of countries that are just not able to send their people anymore. They used to send them to us in caravans of 25, 30,000 people each. These massive caravans of people pouring into our country.
See, we can see him. Look, he's looking left here now at the teleprompter, and just a minute ago, I didn't interrupt because I was sick of interrupting him. But it was looking right at the right one, and you can see he looks at that's what he's looking at, these two teleprompters as he does it. So again, this isn't from the heart. It's all probably written for him. And again, I kind of feel we're all just being played here. That he's talking a good game, but in order to get the results that these people want, then perhaps you have to tell the truth for a while now. That's the beauty of it. And make people angry, even us, the people who know the truth, to make us angry into fighting a war, as well as the average people. And again, it's all very suspicious. It's all very suspicious, because you've got to remember why it's suspicious. Is this motherfucker's just been here having tea with the king and kissing the king's ass, as we all seen at the big long table with his speech and all the bullshit he spouted when he was with the king. And you've got to remember that the king is part of this whole agenda massively. The royal family are massively part of this agenda. And at the top of it, one of the ultimate families and the people at the top of this agenda is the royal family. They have a lot of power, a lot of wealth, and they very much are all for the New World Order, as the Queen was all for the New World Order. She'd been selling Britain out for most of her life and getting rid of the empire and dissolving it. And again, the immigration, nothing's been said or done at all by the royal family. We think the king is Muslim at this point. There is lots of rumours that the king is Muslim. Again, back to this Muslim issue that's underriding through this entire thing. And again, back to Albert Pike and what he said about WW3. So, to me, I think we're being stoked. That's my sort of outcome here. I think we're being played and stoked.
Totally unchecked and unvetted, but not anymore. According to the Council of Europe, in 2024, almost 50% of inmates in German prisons were foreign nationals.
See, now Germany, like stoking the German people, like all about foreigners, immigration. Again, ultimately creating, there's enough foreigners in all these countries now, including our own, to literally start a civil war, to start real bad violence and tensions. And through the violence and tensions, these people can bring in the rules and the curfews and the digital IDs, and ultimately get everything they always wanted through by again stoking us up to fight. And this is kind of what I'm seeing here and what I'm hearing.
Or migrants. In Austria, the number was 53% of the people in prison.
Austria now. Austria's drawn in, so drawing all of Europe into this, and yeah, it's kind of time to like start the civil wars in all these countries in a way. That's all. That's all I'm getting from this, really. Because again, what you're being told, the average person. I mean, like if you go and watch like British Stand as an example, British Stand's done a video on this interview, and he's just all for like Donald Trump and thinks Donald Trump's gospel telling the truth, and it's all good and rosy. And then when I'm watching that, I'm thinking, yeah, that's not how all this works. It's really not how all this works. What you're being told is usually look at the Charlie Kirk assassination. Look what's happening there. Like what we're being told probably isn't what's happened. 9/11, another mystery. Like all these fucking conspiracies. John F. Kennedy. What we often get told isn't what's really happening. And again, I just feel that this it's again he's reading all this. This is the teleprompter. Literally, that's what he's looking at right now. That teleprompter. So yeah, but if you like watch British Stand, he's all for Trump and thinks he's gospel truth and he's going to save the world. Whereas I'm very skeptical, to be honest. I side more with he's in on the global agenda, and this is all part of the plan because these people don't fuck around. This has been planned a long, long time, and believe me, when they assassinated or attempt to assassinate Donald Trump last year, if it was the people who are pulling on, they would have got a hitman that wouldn't have missed. There wouldn't be no like left wing guy. This would be in a professional assassin, possibly an army sniper, fucking somebody who could actually shoot a gun from like a mile away, possibly a mile and a half. These people exist, and there's no way they would miss Donald Trump from that range. If they wanted rid of him, they could get rid of him. They got rid of John F. Kennedy. They can get rid of anybody at any time because anybody can be got to at any time. You often can pay their own people's security, and there we've seen hand signals at the Charlie Kirk event with some of the security in the background doing hand signals right before he was shot. Very, very often in assassinations, people are in on it on the inside. That's how it happens, because if the people on the inside weren't in on it, you would never get to the person. So it often needs people on the inside to actually pull off an assassination well, if that person is guarded and well guarded and guarded by people who are professional and check all the corners, check the roofs, and check everything before events or anything like that at all, and have drones up and you name it, it all can be covered, it all can be watched if you do it professionally and if you do it properly. So a lot of the times, in order to kill these people who have them kind of security teams, you have to get to the security team, and sometimes it only takes one of the security team to be bought off to get in there. But this very much happens in the world and has happened in many assassinations. There's actually a video of some South American dictator, I think, and he's standing on a stage, and somebody walks up to shoot him, and there's 4 security guards on the stage, and the security guards all step back and let the guy shoot him because they'd all been got to. Now, had them not been got to, them security guards would have ran forward and protected him, but they didn't. They all took a step back because they'd all been paid to, they'd all been got to. Take out the security, you pretty much get the target. So, again, in the Charlie Kirk scenario, that the security could have been bought off by somebody. Money buys people, and then if you can't buy people, you can also kill them. Again, they've just killed Charlie Kirk, so the person who they're bribing, and especially now, but probably beforehand, was very, very well aware that he could also be murdered if he didn't play ball. Again, Charlie Kirk has been murdered, so these people will murder you, it would seem. So you don't fuck with them, you do what they're told, and unfortunately Charlie Kirk's not here anymore, but perhaps the other person was also threatened with his life. And what do you do? What would you do in that situation? Do you know what I mean? And again, we don't know the level of who's actually done this assassination and who would be threatening them. Imagine it was the likes of the CIA. How the hell would you go to the police about the CIA? You couldn't. So we don't know what we're playing with here, but what we are playing with is usually not the truth. Is what we get out of these mainstream media politicians. It's usually not the truth. So, hold on.
were from places that weren't from where they are now. In Greece, the number was 54%, and in Switzerland, beautiful Switzerland, 72% of the people in prisons are from outside of.
See, he's rattling through all these countries: Switzerland, Sweden, Austria, Germany, UK. Mentioned Muslims, mentioned Sharia law. Again, look at Albert Pike and his prediction, died long ago, World War III prediction, Albert Pike. The Islamic world versus the Zionists and mutually destroy each other, and everybody's kind of picked. If you're not on the Muslims team, you're on Israel's team, I suppose, is the way of it. And anybody who's not on a team, then perhaps this is all about getting you on a team, primarily not the Muslim team at this point, because he's kind of slandering the Muslims all the way through this. So I kind of think that's what he's doing. It's all part of the plan and stoking the tensions, and we're all being played, to be honest, would be my theory on it. I'll leave it there anyway. There's a very long interview by Amy Gaz on about oil and America and all sorts. To be honest, it's on for an hour, but primarily I just thought I'd mention that bit, and it just kind of feels to me like he's stoking tensions in order for people to be willing to fight, because the will to fight's a big thing. If you don't have the will to fight, then you haven't got a war really. If everybody's got the will to fight, then you know what I mean. Wars go a lot better, to be fair, or worse in many ways, but better in the sense of having a war. I'll leave it there anyway. Peace.